Would you guys recommend a male artistic gymnast training all 6 events to do circuit/CrossFit style endurance workouts on their hard days, or more volume/longer sets in their event to train endurance? So this is the unending debate in the world of sports science. Should I just do more of my sport, get more of that specific practice and specific training adaptation in, or should I do some sort of other slightly more varied training modality? The question, or the answer to that question, is you should do both. So the first thing is, when we're looking at gymnastics events, whether it's artistic gymnastics events, whatever it is, it has a massive toll on your body. Like, floor gymnastics is very, very difficult on you. And it is certainly not a sport where I would say you should be pushing that for the entire 12 months of the year. In the points where we're taking a bit more of an off season, we're stepping back from quite so much work on the floor itself, then those CrossFit style, circuit style, endurance style pieces are really, really useful. So firstly, they're taking us away from those specific motor patterns. They're also taking those joints that are already very, very fatigued and already under a massive amount of load, and they're loading them slightly less. So the ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, all that are going to get a little bit of a break during these off-season periods. The other advantage of this, though, is that using some of the other training, we can push variables a hell of a lot harder than we ever would have before. So whether that's something like aerobic conditioning, whether that's local muscular endurance, whether that's explosive or speed strength, anything along those lines, we can push these individual variables up far, far higher than we could if we were just doing the sport-specific piece itself. The problem is we should not be doing that as the majority of our training volume throughout the entire year, because specific training practice is the most important thing in sports. So what it'll probably look like is you'll probably spend 6 to 8 weeks in an off-season period. You're still doing a small bit of work in the gymnastics gym. You're still doing a small bit of that specific practice, but we're going to pick 2 or 3 physical variables we're really going to push during that off-season piece. Maybe it's gain a little bit of muscle mass. Maybe it's improve our conditioning. Maybe it's get a little bit more explosive as you're jumping off the ground. Any of these things can be really improved during that 2-month block. Then I go back, I transition. Maybe I have a little preseason piece, but I transition into my in-season specific training then I prep for competition. Then I take a little deload, I do another off-season block, then I go back, run that same thing again. You're probably going to do that twice per year. In the ideal case, twice per year with about a week or 10 days of full rest in between, going from your competition block, 10 days of full rest into our off-season block is really nice. Allow you to do that very, very consistently for a long period of time. And most importantly, it will allow you to make really good physical progress, as well as making very good specific progress in our sport, which will undoubtedly bring the overall ceiling of your sports performance much, much higher.